All right, students, as you can see for this recording, I've been banished to my bedroom to do my recording. Today we're going to talk about some things that we spoke of in class over a couple periods of class time about explorers and why they did their explorations. And we talked about the 7 reasons, how we broke that up from God, Gold, and Glory in 7th grade, and in 8th grade we spread it out and made it curiosity, wealth, fame, national pride, religion, foreign goods, faster, cheaper trade routes. And you all have been assigned to make a comic strip about that. And so this is just a little PowerPoint about that. One of the explorers that we talk about in 8th grade is Bartolomeo Diaz. And he was earlier than even Columbus and sent by King James of Portugal to look for a trade route to India. Now, remember, why did they care about this? Well, because there had been trade opened up with China and India, and the Europeans wanted those goods, but overland trade routes were very, very risky, and they took a long time. And so they wanted to find a better way to do that, and so they were trying to find a sea route to get there. This was the first known European to sail around the southern tip of Africa, and as you can see by the little map on the bottom, he stayed very close to the shore of Africa. He didn't very much lose sight of it because they didn't know what was out there, and so it was a scary thing to lose sight of land. He named the southern tip of Africa the Cape of Good Hope because he was hoping that he had found the way to Asia. Okay, next up, Vasco da Gama. Now, he's 1498. He's a little bit after Columbus, and I'm not caring so much if you don't get these times exactly correct. Let's just remember these people are before 1500. These guys that I'm talking about right now before 1500, these two. This man's also from Portugal. And he follows Diaz's route around the eastern coast of Africa and sails into the Indian Ocean and finds a water route all the way from Europe to Asia. And that's important. It says at the bottom of the slide, why is this important? Well, you can see why it's important because now you have that thing. You have a water route back and forth between Europe and Asia. And that's a big deal for them because, like I said, they want to be able to trade with the Far Eastern countries back and forth. All right, now our favorite guy, Christopher Columbus, that we study about so much in North American history, and American history especially, because he figured there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way than going around Africa. I will tell you that it is around the tip of Africa and around the southern tip of South America. Those waters are generally very choppy. Even today, those are considered not dangerous for ocean-going vessels because it's not dangerous today, but those are not the calmest of seas to sail in. And so Columbus is thinking if he could find a better way, that would be good. Now, he was from Italy, but he couldn't convince the rulers of Italy or Portugal to bankroll this idea because they're like, no, Columbus, that's not a good idea. We've got our water route. We don't need a new one. And so Spain, though, agrees to do this thing. And he's got his little ships, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, you know the story, how it goes. Right, so he sets off. Now, did he get there? No. Look at the map. He thinks that there's nothing between him and Asia. He can just start sailing and he will run right into Asia because no one knew that there was North America and South America in between Europe and Asia. So he lands on an island and he runs into some natives there. And he calls them Indians because he thought he was in India. That's how we started calling them American Indians because it was not a derogatory name. It was not meant as something bad. It's just, it stuck with them because that's what Columbus called them. And that's for the longest time, we made the distinction between Indian people from India and American Indians. He called this island San Salvador, and he got some of the people there to act as guides to take him around, to introduce him to some of the other islands and some of the other peoples. So the original context is a friendly one, so that's something that you should know. On one of the islands that Columbus called Hispaniola, we now call that place Hispaniola, Columbus and some of his men saw some people with gold jewelry on, and wow, his eyes lit up. That's why I put this little funny cartoon at the top, because you know, he probably by now realizes he might not be in India, but he has found people that know where gold is. And of course, the Spanish leaders and every other leader in Europe is going to be very excited to know where there's more gold. And he assumes that there's deposits of gold nearby because these people have gold jewelry on. And so he makes 3 more voyages, and keeps thinking that he's going to find gold. And he still believes, like in his heart of hearts, that maybe he's reached part of Asia, but not India specifically. And he dies going to his deathbed thinking that he still is in some part of Asia. Okay, Amerigo Vespucci. Now we're past 1500, it's 1501. This is the guy that we name our continents after, North and South America, Amerigo, America. Now he realizes that these places that Columbus has been, those are not America, Columbus. No, so sorry, guy, but that's not it. But he still is on his lookout for the water route to Asia, and so people haven't given up on this thing. In fact, as you will see as we go talk more in class, people don't give up on this idea of a water route for a long time, even after they realize North America is there. You need to know that word cartographer means a map maker. So, I mean, it's not something you're going to be tested on, but it's something you probably should know for high school. So he makes maps. He finds he's looking for water routes, this Amerigo Vespucci guy. And this German man is so impressed with Amerigo Vespucci's reports back and his drawings of the place that he makes maps from Amerigo Vespucci's drawings, and he names the new continents America. And so that's how we get to be America instead of Columbia, because a lot of people are thinking, well, why wouldn't we be named after Columbus? He was the first. But no, Amerigo Vespucci gets that honor. All right, Balboa. Balboa was from Spain, and now you'll notice that some of these people, most all of them are from Spain, Portugal, or else they're bankrolled by people from Spain or Portugal. And if you think about a map from Europe, it makes sense because they are ocean-going people. They're sort of like right there on the edge of Europe, and so they do a lot of ocean travel. And again, we're down the road in time, 1513. His idea is to get across Panama. He's looking for that route to get to Asia. That's what they're still looking for. And of course, there's not one across Panama, but he is trying to find one. And so he is the first one who is actually responsible for getting across Panama to see the Pacific Ocean. And that's not easy. It's jungles, it's mountains, and so some of his guys die on the way. And so while he doesn't really find a water route, at least he realizes that, yes, by trekking over land, it's hard, it's tough, it's sweaty, it's nasty, but yes, you can, in fact, get across this little piece of land to the other side. Now, Magellan is another person later on, 1519. By now, the Spanish have got a foothold in North and South America. They've got colonies and some mission systems built. And again, Magellan from Portugal, and they're still looking for the water route to Asia. And he decides to go follow the southern tip of South America, go all the way west around South America. And it's, like I said, pretty dangerous. And in the winter months down there, it's dangerous even now. Magellan himself died on the trip, but his crew became the very first people to sail all the way around the world. So this is an important person. And things are named after him. Star systems and things like that are named after Magellan. He's very important. You're going to need to know him. All right, here's a little map of his route. It's sort of a fuzzy little map, but his little map showing you the route. This is something we discussed in class, and I've also posted this on Canvas, a very good explanation of the Columbian Exchange. And so I'm not going to go into this in detail, but again, it's something you need to be familiar with and you need to know. And this is something that we have talked about in another place, in another PowerPoint, in another lecture, and that's the concept of mercantilism, which is the concept that the economy of the mother country is depending on the colonies being there just for the support of the mother country. Now that works great for the mother country, for Spain, for England, but it doesn't work really good if you're the colonies. It starts out working fine, but the colonies, both the Spanish colonies and the British colonies, got tired of it over time. Okay, so that's explorers. Here's a little bit of a chart about mercantilism, but again, we've talked about this in class, and we will talk more about it in class later on.